Witamy wszystkich na 382 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy czwartek, 23 lipca 2020 rok i tematem jest 337 warsztat poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim, tłumaczony z języka angielskiego na język polski i czas przetłumaczony na dzisiaj to jest od 6 minut do godziny 16. Potem zapraszam do rozmów, zadawania pytań, na które postaramy się odpowiedzieć. Tak więc zapraszam do obejrzenia i wysłuchania.
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers workshops. And I hope we can learn more. And in the process of learning more, we share more. And maybe become a point, a breakthrough for someone somewhere. In one of the teachings, I was present and I said to the knowledge seekers, saying, we've done everything. We've been there to teach and serve. And I said, that's all we can do, because those people who you thought are just nothing, they were there as knowledge seekers. Now, through their teaching, what you thought, they have saved many lives through Corona. It's not that we put money into the foundation or we back the foundation with different things. All the teachings, all the little courses you do, or whatever you go around and teach people, that's serving. We all serve in different ways. And mankind at this moment of time needs more serving than actually needs anything else. In so many ways, we see second round of Corona hitting much harder, and the lives taken by this virus has become more or less impossible to stop by the present world of medicine. We hear Los Angeles has gone in the second shot now. We hear Australia has closed some of their cities again back to Europe. Some nations have gone back on the mask and again restrictions. And everybody was hoping that when the summer comes, the heat will take the flu away. And we warned from the beginning, this virus has a characteristic of African flu, and it'll go worse in the summer. And we have seen we are correct. One of the biggest problems with this Corona is the new elevations and the new problems which has caused. It's so frightening that it puts shivers on my back, even the knowledge I have how to control this, what we call dragon. The new versions, new innovations, new what we call mutation of this virus is extremely frightening. Cannot be kept out and cannot be hidden. But again, as Keshe Foundation has always warned in advance, and we see it appropriate till the government decides to release the totality of the report. In this report, I have stated categorically that we have seen through Corona fathers killing their daughters, the brothers, the sisters. People are committing crime in a state that the mind is not ready. these people have to be excused, as is not a murder, but the course of action of an illness which no one has control. If we carry on and ignoring this, many of us will be imprisoned for what things we have never had a clue about, as Corona has created a condition of short circuit in the emotional physicality of the man. The international law and the governmental law, and in so many ways, the direction of criminality has to be ready to put aside any crimes on the basis of Corona, as people have no control. We have seen this in Iran, we have seen this in China, and what I call the law enforcement has to stand firm in no crime is done, and if can be proven that the crime is due to Corona, not by default, by fact, there should be no crime. It is not that you're a state you're at the state of not knowing what to do, or you're doing, is in fact what has short-circuited in the brain. We are not giving carte blanche for people who do crime, but man has to be correct in conduct and put everything correct from the beginning. We see other factors which is coming forth through Corona. We are holding back till we discuss this with international governments and away from criminal organizations like Gates. We have seen new elevations. We have seen new, what we call deviation, but with a side effect which is absolutely criminal. I ask and request for the rest of Gates and his team internationally. This request will be put among the nations which we collaborate with, because this is a genocide. What we see, we cannot even talk about. People close to me, as the head of the foundation, are aware of it, but it is painful even to think about it. Some of the Keshe Foundation teams are working in the background to get results. It was expected. But if this, what we see in the masses which are appearing, mankind is heading for doomsday. The reality is, we are working on it. New procedures has been put in position. Doctors are adopting it and going ahead with applying it. And when we see the results, we have to report back. I wish one thing: Gates would have never been born. That blood has to be stopped. Not by anything else, but by elevation of the soul. The pain will last mankind, if mankind lasts that long, generations to come, if generations can be there to come. For this reason, as we were aware of things happening in the background, we override a new fundamental system to override Corona and match Corona, as we say, step by step. Today, I release a new structure for a third cup. This is a cup of soul, and in effect, needs to be there to overcome, to be able to carry man through this time. To what effect you will be using it is very much in the hand of how you see as those who are affected. The cup of soul has a direction and a dimension into operating through the soul of the man, through the soul of physicality, to the physical body of the man. We had to introduce this, as we see no other way. We see no other, what I call, option left to mankind, except moving to the level that the corona works. And in that process, handle it with care, with gentleness, and at the same time making sure man does not become insane. We elevate the soul of the man to become the defender of his own physicality. And in so many ways, many sorrows will be created if we do not stop this. What is important to understand is it interfered with our structure in the energy level, and it locked itself to our physicality. We started with physicality and we went for the structure of physicality. Now we handle it with his own soul, with his own energy, and this is a breakthrough through the science. Never been taught, and in so many ways we have to teach. I have no option. As the Iranian community say, you have taken all the hopes from us. But in fact, we gave you the chance and the hope to survive. In so many ways, we open the door to a new science, but something you knew, but you never done. And it has to be done in that way. And it has to be done in the dimension of the soul of the man, to understand the elevation of the soul, which can understand the elevation of the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man in all dimensions of the existence, from emotion to its energy level. Many of you who've been around the foundation, you are fully aware of the way I work. Simplicity of teaching is the key to understanding. And simplicity of understanding is to, in fact, comprehend. The new cup is from the comprehension of the structure of the man. There is a small problem which I have to tell you. You hear me snuffling and coughing a lot. I have a very bad cold, and you always have been with me, good and bad. Today is a very bad one. What I want you to do is listen very carefully. This is cup number 3, the cup of soul. What you need to do, very simple. Do not quote it. Oh, I better bring it down. Then I can't connect you. You have 3 nano-coated wires. All 3 of zinc. You connect all 3 together. With this, you connect to the second cup or the first cup. In all three cases. You see, when you don't get it right there, you have to do it differently. In the first cup and the second cup, you have nano-coated copper. Then you have and you have the zinc, and you have your nano-coated and copper of their own. You connect all three nano lines together. And as before, you connect the others which are not nano-coated together. The gases produced in this part will be an energy level of the soul of man. Now you connect with cup 1, which carries the soul of physicality to the soul of the man. And with cup 2, you connect to the physicality of the man. Where I make it very clear that you all know what it is. Zn nano. Zn nano. This is copper. This is copper nano. This is your Cu and Cu. And this is your Cu. And this is your zinc. With this new cup, the cup of soul, you match the energy levels of the corona on the strength of the emotion of the man that does not allow the conversion. Can you hear me? In this process?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. In this process, we create energy at the strength of the field of the physicality of the man. This line out and run the 3. Run a cup of man, which can't never take gases from it, but produce the 3 cups in separate.
Mr. Keshe, you're breaking up.
On whatever you make.
Mr. Keshe, could you repeat that last sentence, please? It was kind of breaking up there.
Yes, I've just got to change the provider. In this process, you always use Zn from what I call cup 3. What we call cup 3, whatever you collect from it. Do not look for matter state in cup 3 as such. You're used to seeing physicality, but if you get physical GANs, there's no problem. If you get what we call energy GANs, you just take from the bottom. This area you collect from. Do not forget, the process of connection is as before. You never change the process, which means, to make it very clear for you, this way. These two connect. This one comes here, and the turn line connects the two. But when you connect to the cup number 2, you connect as a totality, or to cup 1. So in that process, from now on, you always use cup 3, at least 20% of your mixtures, 20 to 40%. And then the other 2. For this, you rub on your head, on the body with a hand. You make a mixture in a bottle, in a bowl, and you take it with your hands and you wash your face, you wash your body, you wash your every organ. You have to understand, the soul of the man exists in every cell of the man. In so many ways, you elevate the soul. The soul looks after the physicality. And in that process, then you add cup 1 and cup 2, depending on where is. When you connect the soul to the physical dimension of that position. There is no other way to battle these things this way. You can put it in a space and spray it around. You can put it in a bowls and leave it around the house. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful. The elevation of the soul is cornerstones of the existence. And you have to understand what that means. 2 a spiral and 1 flat. If you have a piece of zinc, cut it in 3 strips. Twist 2 and leave 1 flat. And spiral the 2. This is the new entry for you. There's a new way to learn. And with this process, we have, as I said, we have no choice. All have to be nano-coated. All have to be understood the way it's processed. Try to stay your salinity at around about 10 to 15%. Now, we are not looking for the physical GANs. We are looking for the energy of the GANs. In some of the cases, you might see that one of the coils will vibrate. It oscillates. There's no problem. You might see new colors of ganses as the soul manifests itself in the new dimension of physicality. If you want to make the soul of physicality, you follow the same. You take 3 nano-coated copper. With this soul of physicality, you release a lot of pain, suffering. But it'll be in the local, in that dimension. With a cup of soul, is the soul of the man, which overloads the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man. Don't forget, zinc is around 65 and copper around 60, 62. In these ways, we give the man a chance to be able to encapsulate Krona. By weakness in its strength, forces the energies of Krona to interact direct. And as you have seen, we will see the further development. In these cups, always look for energy. And the energy, the right energy, is sitting somewhere just under the center, somewhere here. This will bring you a lot of new understanding. You will feel the condition of the existence, and in so many ways becomes a magic. You can use it on your animals, you can use it on your loved ones, you can use it on the trees and plants. Many of you will hear the noise, many of you will hear the soul. Many of you will understand the operation between the physicality and the soul. you will see rapid development. You will see eradication of many diseases. You will see painless life. And you feel the love of the Creator. We have taken man today to new understanding of the new levels in the height of understanding the creation. We take man from the dimension of physicality to the dimension of his soul, his strength, his beauty, and his effort. Last week I told you I'd teach you something new. And the head of Keshe Foundation reminded me enough time, don't forget you made a promise. You have to make it. I fulfill my promise. From now on, man will look into a new dimension in elevation of the soul of the man, directly by the man himself, if he's correct in conduct. And at the same time, through the understanding of this new process, maybe mankind will elevate himself to new dimensions. In so many ways, if you understand this, you'll come to a new point. And if you could translate this to a new understanding, this is book number 9. And if you understood the totality, I'll move you to book number 1, in the universal order of the soul, the creation of the soul in the dimensions of the universe. Because when you die, and physicality in the dimension of soul leaves the dimension of physicality, enters this point. Now we need to take you through this process to understand the Creator. In a way, we have given you a handout to move from the dimension of the soul of the man to the dimension of the soul of the universal community. This is where the transition comes. This is where the beauty comes. This is where we fulfill our promise. The day of judgment, the elevation of the soul of the man through understanding of the operation of his own soul. I am the Creator in the dimension of physicality of the man. In that process, for the first time, we welcome you to the universal community. We close the door on the soul of the man, and we open the door to the soul of the universal community, where the physical existence is not an option. And through the same process, will take you to understand the soul of your Creator, how he was created, where he came from, and how he has become the Creator of all. I promised when the glory of the technology appears, one shall not be there. And in that process, mankind will understand in totality what it means to fulfill the promise of the past thousands of years. The day of judgment is not the day where you stand. The day of judgment is when you can transit and go through transformation of the soul of the man to the soul of universal community, which creates the line of ascent to the Creator. And this is a gift. It's such a beautiful day with a new love, with new care, with new understanding of the creation. I always said, when I'm fulfilled with the love of the creation, I create. In so many ways I understand this, because in a coming time you will understand more about the process of the creation, and you need this as a basis of understanding of the totality. As we always said, we come to taste the beauty of this planet, to feel the love in the dimension of physicality, that with it we can elevate man to the dimension of the love of the Creator. And as we have fulfilled in all dimensions, it's time to elevate the man. In so many ways, in the coming days and weeks, you will see the beginning of new changes. As we have elevated, and as you start using these technology in a true essence of his knowledge and not the fear of demise of the man. But as I always said, understand the process of the creation. Understand the love of the Creator, and you'll find a path to Him. Try to understand the way mankind will proceed from now on will be on one way and one way only, through the soul of the man. And then if man would like to see life in the dimension of physicality, it's his choice. Be it at birth, be it in giving life, being in transition from one dimension to another. The process of teaching in elevation of the soul of the man completes itself today. Now the process is not to elevate the soul, to overcome the physicality for it to survive longer. As with the teaching of today, there shall be no death. The dimension of physical death is in the hand of the man himself. This is the secret of life, everlasting life. Many of you make it by the desire to have that, and many of you will fail. That desire is not in truth to serve humanity, but for the ego of the man. The completion of the closure of the past was completed this morning, early hours of this morning. And with it came the release of totality this morning. We close the door to the past and we open the door to the future for the humanity to understand the elevation of its soul. Nothing in my cycle is coincident. And nothing in this cycle will come by chance. When mankind finds the true love, mankind is elevated to the dimension of the soul of the Creator. We came here to find and we found. We came here to elevate and we have elevated. Now is for you to decide in what dimension you want to exist. There should be no fear of Corona if you have managed to crown your head with the soul of the man, the true existence, the true essence of creation. When I'm given love, I shower love back on humanity. And you are washed away today, if you understand. There is a point with, while you understand this, while changes that you could not imagine, then we start the process. You got to understand, whatever is created is below what we have created. We know how to handle it. From cronies to krona does not make any difference. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And as usual, I remind the attendees they can put their hands up in order to be recognized to turn your microphone on. Don't see any questions directly on teaching yet, except for, well, actually there are a couple of questions in the Q&A. Let's just start with the first one. Mr. Keshe, when you refer to 3/21/21, you talk as you're running against time. Is this a limit date, and why? Thank you.
21/21, which is March 21st, is the beginning of spring, a beginning of life. A new life will start on that day, as we promised. A new life for mankind, a new life for understanding of totality. And in so many ways, in next few months, mankind will mature so fast that we pass everything mankind has known for millions of years together to its knowledge. It will be the beginning of new understanding. As I said before, around that time, I'll move away from the Keshe Foundation and go back into teaching and research direct. Development and delivery of new technologies that releases pain and suffering on this planet and beyond. As the new head of Keshe Foundation, in past 4 years she's been battling to get it right. Now she has to battle it to have it right. The two heads of the foundation, the most beautiful women, which are here with us, it becomes their responsibility to create balance in both directions, as yin and yang, as we call it. One is responsible for the soul of the man, and one is responsible for the soul of physicality of the man. And together they bring a new balance, a new beginning. The two inseparable part. In so many ways, 21st of March is a beginning in understanding the universal, what we call communities, conditions and entrance. And in a way we cannot take you, as I said before, to town and just leave you alone. We have to show you where you live, how to walk, where are the pleasure parts to be, and how to enjoy the new existence. You have a little bit of time to adapt. But don't forget, the whole humanity will adapt, and all creation and created. In so many ways, as of today, we elevate the soul of all those who breathe on this planet. Be it the fish, be it the lion, be it the man. As you make these cups of souls, as the structure of the all being on this planet connected, you will create the true dome of peace. As the dimension of energy, like you saw with Corona, will spread across this planet in no time. As I said, they tested us, we matched them and beyond. We are the masters. As this disease has spread across the continents, and one thing which you do not know and have referred to it in the past, you humans occupy the surface of this planet. This virus even touched those above, innocent, and we could not stand it anymore. With this new process, we encircle the whole planet. As life on this planet in every shape and form is dependent on the amino acid. In this process, with a new teaching and what to come, will take you through the threshold of entering universal community as the soul of the planet. The soul of the child. That child is the human race. Yes, 21st of March has a huge significance. Next few months, we rush you through as much as possible. We carry as many as possible. We will see the end of the kingship. We will see the end of what we call enforced societies. We will see the time of transition where what mayhem we saw in some nations will become part of the structure of the change, permanent change for humanity. On behalf of the Iranian government and the Zemnisayat Khani of Iran, we put out the hand of peace to the American administration today. Defy us, we will wipe you out through your soul. Not a bullet, we enter into your creation. By the request of the Iranian government, we put a hand of peace to all the nations as of today. The instructions are clear. And through this process and the teaching of today, we start the process of world peace, equality of all races, and one nation. Because now we have the tools, we've shown the tools, and you will do it, not us. In the corridors of power, there is a lot of dilemma. What are we going to do? We have lost everything. My response to Rothschild family in their direct contact with Keshe Foundation in wanting for us to meet with their masters, the response is yes. We meet with you on one condition: total disarmament of Rothschild operation. Everything has to be equal, and the highest priest of Rothschild family have one choice: abide and work through us. Those who brought you will and will not be able to operate anymore. Your Grand Masters have no grandeur. In your direct contact with the Keshe Foundation and your request to meet, the Keshe Foundation management will meet you in Austria or Germany. Go through our channels and we meet with you at our ground, our terms. Any other question?
We have several hands up here. I think Azar can go first, and Gatwa. Just a second, allowed to speak. There you go. Hello, Azar. I'm not hearing your voice. I see your microphone is open.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, when you make the third cup, the zinc, and you gave the protocol, is this when somebody gets the corona, or you can just do it for prevention? That's the first question. The second question is, we doing from the cup 1, can we doing from the zinc cup? And the third question is, when you make the physicality cup with copper, do you connect it anywhere? You just have it isolated as one and you just connect it to a copper?
You can drink from 3 cups and you'll find out that you don't look for the dimension of physicality. Cup number 2 and 3 and 1 connected the same as is in the process of the past and the present, which he adds. You have to understand the 3, or cup number 3, you get one line connected to that from all 3 when you have connected on the central common line. When you have the line from here and the line from here connected, then you have a line from here to here, and you put a third line to connect. Your line of connection comes from here to your other cup.
Mr. Keshe, with the zinc cup, when we
It's not a zinc cup; it's a cup number. It's a cup of soul.
Cup of soul. When you want to drink from it, because there is no gans, so you cannot wash.
You might produce some cans. Listen, don't go into the dimension of physicality. Just do as we said. Make it first. See it first. Then talk.
My last question is this: there are a few cases in New York that I've seen. There are children, 12 years old, 14 years old, 13 years old, and these kids, these children, they had tested and they had antibodies, but never had any symptoms. One case I know is a 12-year-old, and for 2 days he just had some sore throat and nothing else, and then he just shows antibodies. My question is, what is the situation with these kids? What is the future of the kids who go through this process and show antibodies, but there is no severe condition? Does this mean they're immune to the corona and they completely are safe in the future, or they're going to develop some sort of cancer or anything else with it?
What we see, corona is dividing itself to different sections. 0 of pre-birth to about 7 to 10. We see about 9 to 14, 15. We see teenagers to adults. We see adults to around the age of 50, 55, and the rest. They all, most of them, can get common denominator 1. But each one we see now separate effects according to theirs. And we understand most of it, how it happens. In the age of 7 to up to age of 7 pre-birth, they get a corona, 37-degree temperature to 42 coma deaths. We see a lot of this at the moment. The new protocol procedure for this has been issued. In this age bracket, because the body is going through a transition from during the process of puberty, we see the body as it's going through the change, it adapts very quickly to corona. This showed us that corona has emotional side effects into the dimension of physicality and gets confused. We don't see that much death in this bracket. We see heart attacks and stroke and brain hemorrhage in this group. We see heart attacks and pre-cancer condition in this group. And this group is vulnerable to death very rapidly, over age of 65. The pattern of corona is very clear for us sitting in the background and looking at hundreds of thousands of people reporting. You got to realize where I sit and connected to many chat rooms which are handling corona, we see symptoms coming up. You are part of one group. I see 20 odd groups. We see which nation is catching up. We see which nation is falling behind. We see new patterns coming up. And these children up to 7 to 10, they sometimes show the sign and they become immune to it. And sometimes they fast die very quickly. At the moment, we see in this group, from home to hospital, they die. So the emergency unit is going to be equipped at the point of arrival that transportation does not take place.
So, Mr. Keshe, the teenagers, so at the moment they're most immune to this corona.
They are not immune. They are not immune. You're using wrong terminology. They are going through a process of transition of growth and active cells. And that active cell chews up the energy of the corona. The same active cell, after around 20, 25, 30, gives you a heart attack and death. In the process of teenagers, what we call puberty section, as the body is behaving totally different energy-wise, corona gets mixed up. At the same time, doesn't show any symptoms. At the moment, today, we do not see any symptoms. Most of the coronas, the ones who talk about the lung and the rest, is now something between 5 to 10% of the population. The other 95% show no symptoms whatsoever. No fever, nothing. One of my biggest concerns is that this age group will never produce children. And we see the same here. I didn't want to explain this, but now we see it in 6, 7 countries. Has to be known. We see men with no active sperm.
Mr. Keshe, there was a news report from Canada today that the majority of the coronavirus, the new infections are in the under 40 years of age group, which is completely reversed as to what it was before, where it was mostly over the age of 80 or 85 was the majority.
I'm going to repeat, clearly understood. We see infertility with the sperms with no life, which means those who are affected will never reproduce. This is the crime Gates has done. Now you understand. We request from all the governments to do a sperm test and egg test on all those who have been affected between 3 to 6 months after infection. This is a birth control. And we have seen it in 6 nations for past 6 weeks. Loss of libido, and at the same time, 0 sperm count. We have never seen this before. Those who are affected, first was reported in Iran, first was reported from China. We kept a look on it. We kept it very close. And now we can report it. No interest in reproduction. And men and women with 0 live egg and sperm. Just a robot. Birth control through the back door. I will take revenge on Gates and his blood. It's the first time we disclose this, and it's becoming a pain in the whole structure of the work. We reported multiple menstruations. Now we see infertility. And tests from number of countries we asked to be done in past 6 weeks. I did not want to disclose this, but I had to because it'll become a big factor in the life of people. And this is the prime reason I released cup number 3 today. Most of men who are affected by corona will never reproduce. The same will be with them. We have given new procedures to be adopted by a number of countries and doctors, and the only solution we see is the use of COP3. The fertility is 100%, which means not even a single sperm is alive. Men become infertile. Same with women. The only way to fight this using COP3, what we call cup of souls, either cup of souls, cup of soul of physicality or a cup of soul of the man. You elevate this position. Try to make love as much as you can to keep it at the height that it can be defected and can be defeated. If you have a partner, stay with him close and take him through cup 1 and 2. And then take him through the cup of soul. Soul of the man or the soul of physicality. This will bring a lot of problems, especially for men or the women who think their partners has lost interest in them. And it will bring new social structure problem. It's not that your partner is not interested in you. It's not that your partner has an affair. The truth is the corona has killed everything through the emotion and the physicality. Erection for men become non-existent. We have to be open because this is the truth, and you have to understand where you stand as a human race. It's the responsibility of the partners to understand the situation and follow the procedures we set up. Stand with your partners who come out of this disease. First we sow this, then will come the cancer. Use as much bath as you can to get rid of the possibility of the cancer. Take the bath in cup number soul or soul of physicality. Do not let your partners down because you have let yourself down. As I said, in these teachings we have to teach the truth, that there is nothing hidden. That it doesn't cause social problem in the house, with the children, with the family. Yes, your husband or your wife has a mistress called corona. Has taken everything. The true man stands next to the true partner. And you walk it through, elevate the soul, use the cups, the way we say. And we support you through this. Keshe Foundation research doctors are testing the new methods to be able to overcome this. This is not a joke. Thousands, tens of thousands are infected, have become in past few weeks. We have medical data. Try to support each other emotionally. Try to support each other physically till we get through this problem. Not all is lost, but in so many ways, Keshe Foundation is heading this right through the storm. We'll find a solution. We have found the solution, but we have to wait for the data to come back. Number of research are going around the Keshe Foundations to get the data to understand correctly how to fit it. The only thing we need to understand that the social structure does not get damaged. This thing appeared about 8-9 weeks ago in China and then in Iran. When women started reporting to us problems, multiple menstruation, which means lack of existence, multiple menstruation wanting to produce before the last comes. Then we saw reports of men complaining of libido, loss of libido. And then we saw doctors start testing about 4 weeks ago around the world with zero sperm life. In a way, with calcification of the essence of creation in the egg and the sperm, everything has solidified and died. It has no energy to produce. As I said many times, we are here together to change it, or you will find out you will be taken by everything that this will bring on us. It's the responsibility as a social structure to understand this.
Mr. Keshe, the physical cup and the copper cup stands by itself alone, yes?
What you mean?
You just connected three copper, the two coils and one flat one. They stand by itself. You don't connect it to anything else.
You decide.
Okay. Thank you.
Mamy koniec pierwszej części 337 warsztatu. Tak więc jeśli ktoś by chciał zabrać głos, to zapraszam lub zadać pytanie. Jeśli nie ma pytań, to dokończymy to w niedzielę. Każdy może, nie wiem, narysować rysunek swój, jak to widzi, jak to jest połączone, czy trzeba to łączyć, czy nie trzeba. I wtedy wymienimy się swoim zrozumieniem. I na wiele sposobów pewnie każdy zrobi to jak należy. Tak więc zapraszam na kolejne spotkanie, a to były 382 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z czwartku 23 lipca 2020 roku. Tak więc do usłyszenia i dziękuję za przetłumaczenie.
It's time for change.
Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz. Być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni. Nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.